What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So what we got here is the unbelievable story of Tama Tonga, my guy. Now, if you know me in person, if you've been watching my videos, you know I've been waiting a decade for my guy Tama Tonga and for Tonga Loa to move on over to WWE to have the dream match I've been waiting for, Gorillas of Destiny versus the Uso. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. 5 years in waiting, I gave up. I was like, you know what? This is never going to happen because Vince McMahon will never allow this to be. But we're in the Triple H era, and look where we are. This match possibly could be happening or some type of variation of it. Either way, I'll be happy. But the reason why I picked this video, because I know some people are not familiar with Tama Tonga and some things he did prior to signing with WWE. And hopefully this have a lot of information in regards to that and the tenure of the Gorillas of Destiny outside of WWE. Now, before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this.
The Bloodline's new enforcer, MFT Tama Tonga, has finally made his debut in the WWE, ferociously attacking both Jimmy Uso and Kevin Owens in a short amount of time. Obviously oozing with charisma and clear dedication to his role, Tama Tonga's journey to the biggest wrestling company.
I wonder too, when he came out like this, I was like, I'm happy my guy is out here tearing up Kevin Owens. I'm like, why do they got my guy dressed like he's about to audition for Dancing with the Stars to like Bailamos by Enrique Iglesias? Like, that's what it looks like he's about to do. He's supposed to be ferocious and dangerous. And yes, he was, because he took a whole bite out of Kevin Owens' forehead. He pulled the Scruff McGruff on that boy.
Company in the US was as interesting as it was challenging. Join us today as we take a look at the unbelievable story of Tama Tonga, early life. Tama Tonga was born Alipade Aloisio Leone on October 15, 1982 in Nuku'alofa, the capital of Tonga. His adoptive father, Tonga Fifita, better known as Haku in the WWF, has instilled in Tama the strength, toughness, and family values that came from Tongan household, which is strongly immersed from Polynesian heritage. Haku's role in the professional wrestling world is what shaped Tama Tonga's passion for the industry, and it only ever grew from there. Tama and his family moved to the United States in search of better opportunities and possibly a better exposure to the wrestling business. He joined the United States Air Force and served as a stealth bomber mechanic for 6 years. In a conversation with his brother Tevita Fifita, better known as Tonga Loa, changed his career prospects forever as they decided to dive into the world of pro wrestling once they finished their obligations. Wrestling career beginnings. In 2008, Tama and Tonga approached the Dudley Boys about using their ring in the Team 3D Academy of Professional Wrestling, but this was only for reps, as they did not join the school due to them being trained by their father Haku and Ricky Santana. Eventually, they would join the school for proper training, and they were trained by Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley for a time. One would think they learned tag team psychology from one of the greatest teams of all time. Tama and Tonga made their professional in-ring debut later that year under the team name the Sons of Tonga. They would wrestle in multiple indie promotions such as Southern Championship Wrestling, World Extreme Wrestling, and World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico.
WXW, that's where Gunther, aka FKA Walter, originally was wrestling at, and I believe Swerve Strickland used to wrestle there too when he was Shane Strickland.
In 2009,
and by the way, when the Gorillas of Destiny had that tag match at a pay-per-view, which I believe they will, they better come out with these paints on right here. They better have this paint on, and they better have the Firing Squad theme song, bro. I'm not expecting anything less. I will be highly disappointed if they don't pull the trigger on that. Well, I won't really be disappointed, but I would love for that to happen.
The brothers would hit a fork in the road as they tried out for WWE, and only Tonga would be signed and would wrestle and appear on WWE TV as Camacho, Hunico's enforcer, and Muscle. This is where Tama Tonga started to establish himself as a single...
That was Tonga Loa that did that, not Tama Tonga. Wait, hold on, maybe I heard that wrong.
In 2009, the brothers would hit a fork in the road. Tonga would be signed and would wrestle and appear on WWE TV as Camacho, Hunico's enforcer, and Muscle. This is where Tama Tonga started to establish himself as a singles wrestler, going under the moniker of Kava and King Tonga Jr. as a way to honor his father that wrestled under the name King Tonga in Puerto Rico.
Maybe he's just saying Tonga because Tonga Loa's. He's going by his first name, not Tama's last name. Okay, forgive me, guys.
Tama Tonga. After his stints with American indie promotions, he would go to Japan in 2010 and try out for NJPW New Japan Pro Wrestling. He made his debut for the promotion in May of the same year, and this is where he would develop the name Tama Tonga. He would go on to have a prominent run in the Super Junior division and Super Junior Tag division, teaming with Davey Richards. In between his New Japan run in 2012, he would have a short run in CMLL, New Japan's working partner in Mexico. He would take on top stars in the promotion and even compete in the Leyenda de Azul tournament, the original Bullet Club. In 2013, Tama Tonga would make his triumphant return to New Japan. In that year's NJPW event, Wrestling Dontaku, something happened that would change the wrestling landscape forever. Tama Tonga had an ongoing alliance with Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and when Carl Anderson ultimately lost to the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, the duo of Prince Devitt and Bad Luck would make their...
This the thing, though. This the thing right here. It's what I said in my other video. If they want down the line, because they can't do it right now, I don't want them taking anything from the whole Bloodline situation. But down the line, if they want to mix up some type of storyline involving Finn Balor or AJ Styles or Cody Rhodes, because Tama Tonga was a member of the Bullet Club when Prince Devitt, Finn Balor was the leader, when AJ Styles was there, and when Cody Rhodes is there. So they can do whatever they want with that in the future, of course. I don't want them to take from the Bloodline, but I wonder if they're thinking about doing that in the future.
...way to the ring and form an alliance with Tama and Anderson. The group would be known as Bullet Club. Tama and the Bullet Club would run rough shots through New Japan as the foreign heels of the promotion. They'd attack people from behind, have interference in matches, and straight-up bully reporters. Tama Tonga and Bad Luck would compete in tag team action for the club and represent them in tournaments like the World Tag League. The faction would have significant additions by the end of the year, adding Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, and Doc Gallows. Another notable occurrence for Tama Tonga would come in 2016 at Wrestle Kingdom 10. Teaming up with Bad Luck and the Chaos defecting Yujiro Takahashi, Tonga entered the ring to compete for the inaugural Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championship. Their opponents, Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, and Toru Yano, stood in their way.
First and foremost, RIP to Jay Briscoe, but what I want to say is that around the 2010s, I think that era got to be goated for being one of the best, arguably probably the best, depending on who you ask, eras of tag team wrestling across all different promotions. I mean, if you think about it, every tag team in that era that was the best were at their prime. Think about it. The New Day, the Usos, Z-Bar, Undisputed Era. I know that's a faction, but if you want to talk about tag teams there, they were at their prime. If you want to talk about Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, if you want to go and talk about the Lucha Bros, if you want to talk about Matt and Nick Jackson, they were at their prime around that time. The Guerrillas of Destiny. The list goes on and on and on. There's so many tag teams at that time at their prime that were amazing. And we really need to have a discussion about that. Seriously.
Despite their best efforts, Tonga and his team fell short, with Jay Briscoe pinning Tonga for the win. But Tonga and Bullet Club would ultimately get their revenge, as on February 11th at the New Beginning in Osaka, he and his partners in a thrilling rematch emerged victorious, claiming the coveted Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championship. Their reign, however, was short-lived. Just 3 days later, at the New Beginning in Niigata, the Briscoes and Yano reclaimed their title, leaving Tonga and his team in defeat once again. Amidst these ups and downs, Tonga faced a pivotal decision. In February, he received an offer from WWE, a chance to step onto a global stage. It seemed like a new chapter was about to begin for him in a different wrestling landscape. Yet, fate had other plans. New Japan intervened, offering Tonga a new contract and even hiring his brother. Tonga decided to stay, committed to the path he had chosen, Guerrillas of Destiny. In early 2016, Tama Tonga made a pivotal decision to reunite with his brother Tanga Loa, fresh off a stint in Impact Wrestling. Together, they set their sights on becoming a dominant force in the tag team division of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The GOD operated as a team inside of a team, being part of Bullet Club still. Their breakthrough moment came at the G1 Climax 26 finals in August of that year. The Guerrillas of Destiny achieved their first major victory by defeating the formidable Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark, to capture the IWGP Tag Team Championship. It was the beginning of their reign of dominance. Their in-ring chemistry and prowess made them stand out as one of the top tag teams in NJPW. But what really set them apart was their willingness to embrace the role of the bad guys. They weren't afraid to bend the rules and resort to underhanded tactics to secure victory, adding an extra layer of excitement to their matches. Throughout 2017 and 2018, the Gorillas of Destiny continued to dominate the tag team scene, engaging in memorable rivalries with teams like...
Y'all know who those are, right? And remember when they came up from NXT and they gave them the name The Viking Experience? They were so good in NXT, and then when they give that name, I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Why are you guys naming them a name you would give a ride at Disney World? The Viking Experience? I know they changed it, but that's around the time like fans of NXT wrestlers were terrified of them being called to the main roster, given them being jobbers or the name changes. It was just a scary time to be a fan of any NXT wrestler around that time, bro.
War Machine, Killer Elite Squad, and Bullet Club brothers, the Young Bucks, whom they had one of their most legendary feuds showcasing a clash of styles that epitomized tag team wrestling. The rivalry produced some of the most memorable matches in recent NJPW history, solidifying the Gorillas of Destiny's reputation as one of the best tag teams in the world. Despite facing challenges from all sides, the Gorillas of Destiny remained at the top of their game. They held the IWGP Tag Team Championship multiple times, establishing themselves as a true dynasty in NJPW, a club divided. Tama Tonga has been a part of multiple iterations of Bullet Club, starting from the original led by Prince Devitt. Then came the most dominant and most decorated era of Bullet Club led by AJ Styles. But in late 2018, Bullet Club took up new leadership in the form of the cleaner Kenny Omega. With Omega's leadership, the faction took on more international members and won more championships. More members, however, did not sit well with the original members of the Bullet Club, and this is where the divide began. When Kenny and Cody were fighting over who had the right to lead the faction, original members, the Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck, dubbing themselves the Firing Squad and OGBC, they took it upon themselves to take back the Bullet Club from the elite. The Bullet Club Civil War story is one of New Japan's most compelling storylines in recent memory, pitting members versus members, brothers versus brothers, ultimately leading to the elite leaving New Japan for other ventures in the U.S.
Now, don't this sound like what they're doing with the Bullet, not the Bullet Club, with the Bloodline right now? I'm not saying that they're still in anything, but a great storyline, a civil war between a huge group, is, to me, it's always compelling when done right, and they're doing it right now.
Being left in NJPW, the OGBC sought a new era of Bullet Club, breathing with the Switchblade. After their business was done with the elite, the Gorillas of Destiny sought to expand with the addition of Switchblade Jay White as equal leaders of the new era of Bullet Club. This again would prove to be his downfall, however, as foreign egos would get in the way, as Jay White would look to take over the sole leadership of the club.
This was my least favorite
Impact Wrestling's No Surrender 2022, tensions within Bullet Club reached a boiling point when Jay White interfered in a match between Tonga and his brother Tangaloa against former stablemates Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. White's betrayal led to the Good Brothers and Chris Bay signaling that Tonga and Loa were ousted from Bullet Club. In the 2022 New Japan Cup, Tonga faced Evil, only to be attacked by the House of Torture faction. Despite brief help from the Japanese division of Bullet Club, they too turned on God. In response, Tonga announced the formation of Gorillas of Destiny as a separate stable, leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling and joining WWE. Tama Tonga's 14-year-long tenure in New Japan would close with a singles run with the never-open weight championship, gaining and losing it against former ally and club member Machine Gun Carl Anderson.
You know what's kind of cool, though? For those who probably don't know, I'm sure most of you guys probably know, but there was a time where Machine Gun Carl Anderson was working on WWE TV, and at the time was still the New Japan Pro Wrestling Never Open Champion. He even had to defend it at Wrestle Kingdom that same year. And when that happened, I was like, oh, something's happening here. Something's changing. They're starting to kind of open up that forbidden door little by little, especially when Shinsuke Nakamura got to wrestle the Great Muta at a promotion that wasn't WWE. I was like, they're starting to loosen the grips, and I think we're going to start seeing more of that in the future. And even now, we saw Jordan Grace, the knockout champion at TNA, come over to Royal Rumble, have a situation, and go back. That probably would have never happened. Now, most of you guys will say, well, Mickie James did it, but it's like, well, Mickie James was technically a huge star in WWE at one point in time, so I think she got more room because she probably got connections. But with Jordan Grace, as far as I understand, they don't have any connections like Mickie James will have to come to WWE. It would not happen 5-10 years ago, especially under Vince McMahon. He would have not, and if it did, she would have came in, got thrown out, and that would have been it.
His last matches with the promotion would come in the form of the two-night event New Beginning in Nagoya and Sapporo. Tama Tonga would separate from the promotion in early 2024 and would appear on the WWE television in the SmackDown after WrestleMania XL. He would align himself with family member Solo Sikoa and attack Jimmy Uso as a new member of the Bloodline faction. It is hard to predict what lies ahead for Tama Tonga and the Bloodline, but one thing is for certain, he is going to give his all into this role, and we cannot wait to see what lies in store for him.
I agree. It's going to be so good, man. Especially when they let him pick up a mic and start talking, and he gets to be his cocky self. It's going to be so good, man. Now, word of advice for wrestlers. You see somebody come out there with one of them Walmart hoodies, them Get On hoodies, is that how you pronounce it? You better run. It's never anything good when you see somebody coming through the aisles with a Gadan hoodie, walking, just looking at you, coming towards the ring, and nobody stopping that person. But anyway, at the end of the day, this is well put together. I like this video. What do you guys think? Are you guys fan of the new Bloodline, the Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, Tangaloa group? I call them the Die Bloodline. I gotta stop calling them that because that's kind of disrespectful. But then also the original Bloodline, which is Jimmy, Jay, Roman Reigns possibly, and possibly Jacob Fatu. Who knows? Maybe they'll have something there where they're trying to convince Jacob to join either side. Whatever they're going to do, it's going to be amazing, and I'm here for the ride. But thank you guys so much for watching this and sharing this moment with me. I appreciate you guys. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.